In the first quarter of the century, humanity had reached the pinnacle of technological advancements and space exploration. With Earth's natural resources beginning to deplete, governments and private companies turned to the depths of space in search of minerals. The star miners were one such team among many formed for this purpose. Despite their youth, each member had chosen this dangerous and challenging profession. For them, working in space was a way of life. They lived to explore and push their limits. Adley was the leader of the star miners. Brave, determined, and intelligent, he was driven by a lifelong passion for space. His father had once worked in space mining but had died on a mission. Adley sought to fulfill his father's dream by following in his footsteps. Adley stood in the control room of the Astrova, surveying the surroundings. The interior of the ship was lined with metallic walls, and various lights flickered. Outside, the dark, endless space was dotted with tiny glimmers. Adley glanced at the main screen of the ship. Today's target was asteroid X-19, which preliminary analysis indicated was rich in rare and valuable metals. The other crew members, Draven and Eloan, were also focused on their tasks. Draven, responsible for the ship's navigation systems, was a technical expert known for his fun-loving and somewhat carefree attitude. Despite his playful demeanor, he was deeply committed to his work. As a child, he enjoyed tinkering with mechanical devices, a passion that eventually led him to work in space. Draven loved taking risks and managed to stay calm even in the face of danger. Eloan was the team's science officer. Like the others, she had entered this field at a young age, but she was always more curious and inquisitive. Her interest in science and technology was her most significant trait. For Eloan, space mining was not just a job but an adventure. Every new discovery was a treasure to her. Astrova will land on X-19 asteroid in 10 minutes, Draven's voice echoed from the ship's intercom. Upon hearing Draven's announcement, Adley and Eloan promptly joined him in the control room. Allricht, team. Prepare yourselves. This asteroid seems like a standard mission, but as always, we need to be cautious, Adley instructed, giving orders to the team. While Adley conducted final checks for the landing module, Eloan checked the readiness of the mining equipment. Draven carefully adjusted the ship's landing trajectory. Landing on an asteroid was always risky. Surface conditions, gravity, and other factors could complicate the landing. When the landing was complete, the team exited the module and stepped outside. The surface of asteroid X-19 was gray and rocky. The environment was silent and cold, with only the sounds of equipment and the occasional clatter of rocks breaking the quiet. Adley instructed the team to spread out and conduct initial analyses. Draven used his scanner to survey the surface, while making jokes to keep the team's spirits high. "If there's gold on this asteroid, I'll find it first," he said with a grin. Eloan, using her scanner to measure the metal density on the surface, responded with a slight smile, "If you find gold, you'll have to share it, Draven." After a while, Draven's scanner detected an unusual energy fluctuation. "Hey, I found something!" Draven shouted excitedly. Adley and Eloan quickly joined him. Draven pointed to the screen. "There's an energy source 50 meters deep. But it's not a normal mineral signal. I've never seen anything like it before." Adley looked at the screen and then turned to Draven. "We need to understand what this is. If it's dangerous, we should leave immediately. But if it's valuable, it could be a significant discovery for us," he said. Eloan, with a serious expression, said, "Encountering a material with such high energy levels is very rare. But we need to find out what it is first." "All right, let's start digging," Adley decided. The team prepared their mining tools and proceeded to the area Draven had indicated. They carefully began to excavate the surface and soon uncovered a white, glowing substance. The material appeared to absorb light and emitted a faint vibration around it. Draven marveled, "What is this thing?" Eloan began to examine the substance, conducting various tests. "This material doesn't resemble any known element. I don't know what we found here, but it definitely doesn't resemble anything we've seen before," she said. Adley examined the substance closely. "We need to transport this material to the ship for further analysis. But we must be very careful. We don't know what this is, and it could potentially be dangerous," he instructed. The team carefully began transporting the material and set off towards the Astrova. However, a great adventure and unknowns awaited them. This discovery was just the beginning, and this material held the potential to change the secrets of the universe. Adley, Draven, and Aloan had unknowingly embarked on a journey that would alter the fate of humanity. When Adley, Draven, and Aloan returned to Astrova's laboratory, they carefully placed the mysterious substance they had discovered. The ship was equipped with cutting-edge technology for an asteroid mining crew, and its laboratory had all the necessary equipment for more detailed examination. However, encountering such an unknown and mysterious substance excited and worried the crew simultaneously. Draven, while placing the substance in the ship's security compartment, joked, "This thing might be some kind of alien lost energy or a cosmic battery or something," he said with a laugh. Yet, his cheerful tone didn't change the seriousness of the situation. The crew was facing something unknown, and the substance had a high likelihood of being dangerous. Aloan went to the computers in the laboratory and started up all the systems needed to examine the substance. "The substance is different from all known elements," she said, looking at the analysis results. "Its density, magnetic field, and energy emission are very strange. It seems more like an energy source than an element. But I've never seen such an energy density anywhere." Adley looked over Aloan's shoulder at the screens and asked, "Is it dangerous?" Aloan ran a few more analyses and shook her head. "It's hard to say yet. The substance appears stable at the moment, but its energy emission is variable. This indicates that it could react differently to any interaction. So we need to be very careful," she said. Draven, sitting at the computer, suggested, "How about we test it with an experiment? Maybe we could discover its potential that way," his eyes gleaming with excitement. Adley immediately turned to Draven. "No, I don't want to go that far yet. Conducting an experiment without understanding this substance could be very risky. We need to do more analysis first," he said with a serious tone. Aloan nodded in agreement. Adley is right. This substance carries many unknown potential dangers. "We shouldn't rush," she said. Draven shrugged and stepped back. "All right, I understand. But when we start learning more about this thing, I want to be the one to run the first experiment," he said with a smile. At that moment, the ship's communication system received a signal. An alert light began flashing on the screen. "Are we receiving a signal?" Adley asked, moving toward the screen. Draven quickly went to the control panel to determine the source of the signal. "It's an emergency signal from a nearby ship," he said, with a tone of curiosity and concern. Aloan checked the ship's radar swiftly. There were no other ships nearby. "What could this be?" she said, her eyes widening. Adley turned to Draven and said firmly, "Find the source of the signal and establish a connection immediately." Draven pressed a few buttons to track the source of the signal, and shortly after, a visual appeared on the communication screen. An alien face appeared on the screen. It was a gray-skinned alien with large black eyes. "I'm a researcher from the planet Zyklor. We need help," said the alien, with a tone of desperation and urgency. Adley stood in front of the screen, stunned. They had heard many stories about aliens, but none had ever experienced such close contact. "What kind of help do you need?" Adley asked, trying to shake off his astonishment. The alien replied, "The substance found on the asteroid has caused a serious disaster on our planet. The substance is destroying all our energy sources. If we don't stabilize it immediately, our entire planet will be in danger," the alien said, unable to hide the concern and fear on its face. Aloan's eyes widened as she heard the alien's words. "This substance could be dangerous not just for us, but for other planets as well," she said, turning to Adley. Adley paused for a moment, then turned to the alien with determination. "All right, we'll help you. But first, we need to understand what this substance is and how to stabilize it," he said. The alien nodded in gratitude. "Thank you. I'll provide you with all the information. But we must hurry. Our time is running out," the alien said. As Draven continued the connection with the alien, Adley and Aloan resumed examining the substance in the laboratory. Adley turned to Aloan and said, "We need to understand this substance as soon as possible. The fate of not just us, but another planet may depend on it." Aloan nodded in agreement and focused on her analysis. "We'll do everything we can to understand this substance," she said. As Adley, Aloan, and Draven continued to analyze the information provided by the alien Zyklor, a heavy silence pervaded the laboratory. The desperate tone and fearful expression of Zyklor seemed to echo through the ship's atmosphere. This unknown substance was endangering not only their own lives, but also the lives of millions of innocent aliens. "We need to find an urgent way to stabilize this substance," Adley said while running simulations on the computer. If Zyklor is right, if we don't control the substance here, not just their planet but possibly the entire galaxy could be at risk. Eloan placed the substance in a containment cell and began scanning it across various wavelengths. The substance is stable at the moment, but that doesn't mean much, she said, with a worried tone. Its energy is highly variable. It could react explosively within seconds. Draven, fuming, was pounding his fingers on the table. I don't want to just watch this thing without doing anything. If we conduct an experiment, maybe we could understand it better, he said, glaring at the substance. Adley took a deep breath and turned to Draven. I understand, but we shouldn't rush into anything right now. This substance is unlike anything we know. If we lose control, the consequences could be severe, he said, his voice calm but firm. Just then, the laboratory lights flickered suddenly, and the ship's alarm began to blare. What was that? Eloan shouted, running to the control panel. The ship began to shake, gravity suddenly malfunctioned, and everyone was left floating in mid-air. The substance. It's emitting energy. Eloan screamed in panic. Draven, floating towards the containment cell, shouted, activate the stabilization field. Adley quickly moved to the console and activated the stabilization field. Suddenly, the ship returned to normal, gravity was restored, and everyone fell back to the ground. What's happening? Adley asked, out of breath. Eloan looked at the screens and quickly assessed the situation. The substance is emitting unknown energy that's interfering with the ship's systems. If this energy isn't controlled, it could damage all the ship's systems, she said, fearfully. This much energy. It's impossible, Draven said, still with a look of shock. Everything interacting with this substance seems to become part of it. If we try to destroy it, we might destroy ourselves. Adley looked around the ship helplessly. We have no choice. We have to rely on the information Zyklor gave us, he said. Maybe their technology can help us stabilize the substance. Eloan reconnected the ship's communication system and contacted Zyklor. Zyklor, have we found a way to control the substance? She asked, her voice trembling. Zyklor reappeared on the screen, looking even more worried. Our scientists developed a device on our planet, but it only offers a temporary solution. It stabilizes the substance's energy but doesn't fully control it. I can send you a copy of this device, Zyklor said urgently. That will help, Adley said. Send it immediately. In the meantime, we'll do everything we can. The ship jolted, and a teleportation device materialized. Zyklor's device had been teleported to the ship. Eloan quickly took the device and moved towards the substance. We need to activate this immediately. If we can stabilize the substance, maybe we can gather more information, she said. Draven, excitedly, ran over to help Eloan. Okay, tell me what to do, he said. Eloan aimed the device at the substance and activated it. A blue light emitted from the device, surrounding the substance, and suddenly the substance calmed down. It worked. Draven shouted with joy. But the relief was short-lived. A warning appeared on the device's screen. Energy stabilization temporary. Balance must be restored within 4 minutes. Adley looked at the screen, frowning. 4 minutes. That's not enough time to understand and control this substance. Eloan, Draven, we need to quickly figure out how the device works and how it stabilizes the energy. This might be our only chance for survival for both us and Zyklor, he said. Eloan and Draven quickly began working, while Adley continued communicating with Zyklor. Zyklor, we need to find a way to control this substance long-term, he said. Is there any more information on your planet? Or any other technology related to this substance? Zyklor shook his head sadly. Unfortunately, what we know about this substance is very limited. Our researchers have also been lost in this matter. I urge you to do everything you can to understand this substance. Perhaps your technology and intelligence will be enough to solve this problem, Zyklor said. Adley, looking at the screen with despair, took a deep breath. All right, we'll do our best, he said. But time is running out. The atmosphere in the laboratory was heavy and tense. Every second dragged them further into uncertainty. They fixed their eyes on the device's screen, and with a final effort, they had to stabilize the energy. This was not just a discovery of a substance, but the greatest test of their lives. Adley, Eloan, and Draven were racing against time in the laboratory. The device they had was only able to temporarily stabilize the substance's energy, revealing the need for a more permanent solution. The lab was filled with a palpable sense of urgency and panic as everyone scrambled to find a solution. "We need more information about this substance," Adley said, his eyes fixed on the data from Zyklor. "If we can't find anything about it on Zyklor's planet, we'll have to figure something out on our own." Draven turned to Eloan while trying to understand how the device worked. "Maybe this substance is defying all known laws of physics," he said. "But that doesn't mean we can't find a solution for it." Eloan entered a series of commands into the device's panel and started a series of tests on the substance. "These tests might give us more information about the substance's energy," she said, not taking her eyes off the screen. "Maybe this energy can be controlled at a specific wavelength." Just then, the lights inside the ship flickered once again, and the ship was violently shaken. Adley ran to the control panel to understand what was happening. "What was that?" he shouted. On the screen, an asteroid was rapidly approaching the ship. Adley quickly intervened with the ship's control systems. "Everyone hold on tight," he yelled, trying to maneuver the ship away from the asteroid. Strange shapes were moving on the surface of the asteroid in the external views. For a moment, everyone paused and stared at the screens. It seemed like something was moving on the asteroid. Eloan zoomed in to get a clearer view. These are aliens," she said in astonishment. "They're moving on the asteroid, but why?" Draven immediately began analyzing the footage. "It looks like they might be connected to the substance," he said, eyes glued to the screen. "Perhaps they're trying to control it." Adley, still focused on the screen, said, "If that's the case, this substance could pose a much greater threat than we thought. It might even be a threat to the aliens. Maybe that's why they were so scared." Eloan quickly reviewed the analysis results and took a deep breath. "The energy in this substance goes beyond known elements. And this energy can affect both physical and biological structures," she said. Draven looked at Eloan in shock. "That means this substance could affect not only material structures, but also living organisms. If we don't control it, it might threaten all forms of life," he said, his voice trembling. At that moment, Zyklor re-established communication. "We can't endure much longer with the substance. If we don't find a solution, our planet will be destroyed," he said, his voice filled with worry. "I only ask that you either destroy or control this substance. Otherwise, we will all perish." Adley, in desperation, looked at the ship's control panel. "Zyklor, we'll do everything we can. But understanding this substance will take time," he said, taking a deep breath. "But I promise you, we will find a solution." Following these words, Eloan turned to Zyklor. "Zyklor, do you have any more information about this substance? Perhaps energy sources or another technological device that could stabilize it?" she asked. Zyklor shook his head. "Our technology is insufficient. However, according to an old legend, there is a technology on a distant planet in the galaxy that might be able to control this substance. It's just a legend, but it might be your last hope," he said. Eloan's eyes lit up upon hearing Zyklor's words. "We need to find that planet," she said with determination. "If there's no other way to control this substance, it might be our last chance." Adley nodded in agreement. "You're right. We need to locate that planet and go there immediately," he said. Draven immediately moved to the ship's navigation system and began searching for the possible coordinates of the legendary planet. "Okay, I've found it," he said excitedly. "This planet is a few light-years away, but we can reach it with a fast journey." Adley made his decision. "All right, we're heading to that planet," he said decisively. "This might be our last chance to control this substance. If we fail, not just us, but the entire galaxy will be at risk." The ship set its new course and accelerated rapidly. As the crew moved towards the unknown planet, fully aware of the gravity of their situation, their single thought was to find a way to control the substance and save themselves and the entire galaxy. Did the mysterious substance discovered by the space miners on the asteroid hold secrets that could alter the fate of the galaxy? What will we uncover about this encrypted material in the upcoming chapters? Who are the forces trying to seize this substance? What new dangers and mysteries will our heroes face? To find out all these answers, don't miss the continuation of our story. If you enjoyed this series, make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, and leave a comment. Your feedback helps us enhance the story.